Hey everybody, so I am back just after a bit of a while since I've actually done a video. I've been vacationing and just busy with other things, and so this week I started doing my Civillians for Muskets and Tomahawks, the Civillians by Min Miniatures. I ended up grabbing a handful of them, not all of them, and the way I broke it down was I grabbed the guys that primarily had coats, because some of the Minden miniatures, like these guys here, let's see here, they actually have like almost like many of them have like a one-piece suit. It's sort of like a one-piece that they're wearing. In some cases they have pants, but there's no coat per se. That looks like it's a shirt and pants, but you would see that a number of them aren't. It's just sort of just one continuous, well, you know, it's kind of hard to say. Sorry, just looking here. Yeah, there's definitely, looks like it's being tucked in there. That looks like a shirt and pants. I always thought when looking at this guy here, if you look at him up close here, it almost looked to me initially like one piece, but I actually think it probably is shirt and pants. And so, but they don't have coats. They're just, that's all it is. And I have a number like that. Even a guy like this here, with just a gun, you know. But there's no actual coat that he's wearing. And so I wanted to do those separately, just because I wanted to actually pull my paint out and figure out how I was going to do these coats. And I figured I might as well just start with those guys first. And so it's funny because I actually found it a little difficult to wonder how to do Civillians, because normally when you're thinking, in any game I've played, when you're thinking some sort of army unit, you know, you're thinking uniforms and you're thinking uniformity. You know, you're thinking like, oh, everybody should have the same coat, you know, or everybody should have the same pants, except for the captain or the sergeant or whatever. But now, you know, when I'm painting Civillians, I'm thinking, well, actually, I want to make them look as different as possible, but then also maybe looking like they had access to the same type of clothing, you know, so not it's different from each other, but also the same, because they're like the same group. I don't know if that makes sense. And so what I ended up doing is, for the guys with the coats here, I ended up choosing, and I didn't really know what color to choose either, and I wanted to just keep things kind of simple. I wanted to not look like they were a regular, you know, or had a uniform or a coat as a regular, but just something that they might have access to. So I chose a couple colors. I chose, this is actually like kind of a reddish color, but what I used was Bugman's Glow, I think is the name of it. It's GW. It is Bugman's Glow. I always thought Bugman's Glow was kind of an interesting color, because it's not quite red. It's sort of like a brownish red, and by the time I washed it, it kind of looked like a dirty reddish brown, you know, jacket. Definitely not like a British red, you know, red coat red. And so that's how I did that guy. And for the shirts and pants, I just did them as light, like just sort of a light cloth. The pants I did a little darker, the shirt I did a little lighter. Yeah, that's kind of what I did. In this case, I split up the hats too. This guy's got a black hat, but some of them actually have gray hats, and some of them actually have sun hats that are sort of like a leather brown color. But I'll show you an example of another one. This guy I gave a gray coat instead of red, just to sort of mix it up. Yeah. So really, some of these guys are general laborers, and some of these guys are civilian militia in the way that I've done it. Like this guy here is actually the guy that's carrying that chest. If you've seen my other video, he's one of the guys that's sort of carrying a chest around, and on one side. And then here's a general laborer. And this is one of the guys with the sun hat that I was mentioning. I gave them just sort of like a leather hat, did it that way. And then I have my couple of guys from the militia. I have another guy here from the militia as well. So yeah, I have to still base them, obviously, but I think I'll do all my basing last, probably. I always do two things that I used that I thought I'd mention, because I tend to keep the same toolkit most of the time. I use the same stuff. I get used to it. I don't try new things as often as I would like, but I picked two things up in the last few months. I've used one of them, but not that very much yet. It was just only maybe the second time I've used it. I used Vallejo's Model Wash, and not so much, I wasn't going to so much comment on the product, it's just the fact that this is gray, and I used their gray Model Wash, which somebody that's done a lot of Eldar and Warhammer 40k and the Biltan, which is white, it's really nice to have a nice gray wash option. And so I really felt this performed really nicely. I only did one coat on their sort of leggings, just because they have white leggings, and it just sort of tones it down a bit, adds a little bit of shade into the folds, but it doesn't give you that a lot of messy stuff that you have to clean up. I didn't have to clean up anything with it. So I just wanted to plug that a little bit for you guys that have never tried it, and gals. It's Vallejo Model Wash, not bad. The other thing too is I had my first shot, this is the first time I used Army Painter's soft tone. Somebody recommended that in a little blog tutorial for something I was looking at. And I thought, I'm going to pick that up. And I used it all over the model, to be honest, but even a little bit on the face to give them a bit of a dirty look for the laborers. And I used that on their jackets, and I found it cleaned up really well. Like it didn't give a lot of excess where I didn't want it. And so for that, I kind of liked it, because in the past I would typically use like Agrax Earthshade, and I found that it's very nice and perhaps a bit darker than this, and it probably should be because I'm using the soft tone, but it actually leaves a little excess on the surfaces, that I have to clean up. And I liked this. I thought it was really nice. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna work on the rest of these guys this week. I shouldn't say I'm going to work on the rest. What I'm going to do is I am going to work on the remaining laborers and militiamen. But I'm going to do this guy separately. I'm going to do him on his own. This is sort of my civilian leader. Ooh, where am I here? There we are. This is my civilian leader. I'm actually going to do him last, just because it might just require different colors. A little bit of a different approach, because I want him to stand out a little bit, be a little cleaner and things like that. And so I'm going to do him last. And then after them, I still have the Jensen ladies to do, but I think I have some miniatures for the game now. And I think after I do these guys, rather than move on to the Jensen ladies for the moment, I'm just going to switch it up a bit, and I'm going to finish my tree plates, which I've showed you in a previous video, and start on some other miniatures for the actual game. Then from there on, I'll be just working on the world and working on the miniatures for the game. Got a bit of a head start on the game itself, like the terrain and buildings and things, but I want to start kicking out some of the miniatures for it too. So, hope you guys are enjoying the way they're looking so far, and I will be talking to you later. Hope everybody's enjoying their summer. Take care.